everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today, we're going to talk about spiritual growth and why you lose friends and family when you walk this path. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, let's dive into this topic. Why do you lose friends and family members as you walk this spiritual path? Well, the number one reason is because you are evolving and they don't see you the same. And you have changed too because, the drama, the gossip, whatever linked you to these people, you don't resonate with it anymore. It doesn't make sense to you anymore. And even without you speaking a word, they can feel your energy has shifted. They don't know what it is, but you're not the same. And they put it on different things why, you think that you're this or you think that you're that. And it's not that at all. It's because your frequency is at a higher level. Now, there is also a mirror effect. Your people may start to see in you what they are not doing for themselves. Okay? For instance, on your spiritual path, you may start eating better, doing more exercise, caring better for yourself, things like that. And it's a reflection on your friends and family that makes them feel some sort of way because you are reflecting back to them their shortcomings. You can make them feel uncomfortable, defensive, and even resentful. And you, you are unaware of what the issue is. Just all of a sudden, they don't want to be around you. They don't have anything to say to you. They are resentful of you, and you have no idea what it is. Families and friends often operate on unspoken roles: the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the rebel, etc. When you heal or shift spiritually, you may no longer play the same role. Okay? Before I got on my spiritual journey, I wasn't as abundant. Okay? I was kind of a codependent on friends, on family, on family. I'll say family. It wasn't the whole family, but certain members. If I got in a jam, I would, contact a certain member of the family, and they would always come through. Well, the whole thing is, once I got on the spiritual path and I learned to manifest my own abundance, I I didn't need the help of this family member anymore. So I thought it would have been a relief that I wasn't, dependent on them. But it didn't turn out that way. I don't know. They got a little resentful because maybe they felt like I didn't need them or whatever. But it's just that when you get on your spiritual journey, your priorities change. You feel more independent because that's the path that you're on. All right. And you're not needy like you used to be. The support that you need, you get it from the divine source. And divine energy is with you all the time. So you don't feel alone, but you do realize that people that used to be there are not there anymore. And plus, the conversation has changed too, because, those little petty conversations, talking about people or whatever, is not interesting to you anymore when you're on your spiritual path. So gossip, partying, drama, it's not there anymore. And usually that's what your family and friends enjoy. You know, they call you up and tell you the hard luck stories going on and things like that, and you ooh and ah about it or whatever. Well, it doesn't interest you anymore. And they can feel the energy is different. This disruption can feel threatening to people who depended on those old dynamics. Okay. Somehow people depend on you being the old you. So now that you are new and improved, it's going to take them some time to accept it if they ever will. Okay. Loss of common ground. Conversations that once conversations that once flowed easily may start to feel shallow or disconnected. This is very true. You know, since I started on my spiritual journey, there's very few people that I talk to that make any sense to me anymore. You know, just random chatter that doesn't do it. You know, I understand you need to make sense, some quality sense, you know. And I chuckle because uh, once you get on your spiritual path, and don't get this confused, this has nothing to do with religion. So I know I should have said that in the very beginning so that you will understand, because a lot of religious people, you resonate with your people. Your people don't leave you. Yeah, in fact, they'll come around you because you speak the language of the religion. The spirituality is different. You don't meet that many people on this path. In fact, it can be that you know, a lonely path. But I don't feel lonely on the path because I have my guides that I talk to all the time. And I call on them every day. I need help with this. I need to find something. You know, I misplace something all the time. So I'm saying, listen, help me find this. And, you know, they always come through, or help me figure this out. And they always come through. So on this path, I don't ever feel like I'm alone. But I do miss, you know, family once in a while, but they have all fallen away. So I have to accept that. Okay. While you may want to talk about growth, healing, or deeper truths, others may prefer sticking to surface level topics. Well, this is the thing. You know, your frequency has changed to a higher level. And like I said, your family is not there. They're still at that lower frequency where you used to be. Okay. And elevating to a higher frequency, unless you meet someone at that frequency or higher, you're not going to resonate with them. Okay. And so, you know, you need to come to terms with that. And I'm speaking to people who are on a spiritual path, not religious, but spiritual. Okay. And let me define that. On your religious path, your objective is to get to heaven, this higher place, when you pass away. That's why you're there. You know, that's the objective, to get to heaven. Okay. Now, on your spiritual path, your objective is divine connection, to get closer to that divine energy, for spiritual growth, for awareness, for a deeper sense of self. Okay. So it's totally different from your religious path. Okay. So I don't want to get people confused because I know I get letters from people say, well, I'm spiritual, but it turns out that they are religious and it's two different things. Now we're talking about losing friends and family when you walk a spiritual path. And I have gotten a few letters where people say that, uh, that friends and family kind of drop off and they don't understand why. It's because you have changed and you are still changing as long as you walk this path. But it's a good thing because you now are a mirror to others and they see their own shortcomings when they look at you. But that helps the human race to elevate because the human race needs the change to elevate the frequency. So it's a good thing. Sometimes friends and family distance themselves out of fear. Well, that's in the lower vibrations, where fear is. If you're on a spiritual path, we don't acknowledge fear at all. We don't live our lives in fear. It's not about fear at all. But in religion is all about fear. Now, for me, my friends and family grew up in a religion. Okay, that's the basis. That's the basis of where they are, religion. So, fear is a part of that. And anything that changes from that, they're fearful of. Any new thing, they're fearful of. So, that's why they reject change. And here you are changing. Okay? They worry your spiritual path would take you away from them permanently. Well, you don't feel like you're not taking yourself away from them. It's just that they are taking themselves away from you because they don't understand you anymore. You look differently, you talk differently, and your vibrational energy is different. Okay? Ironically, their fear can push them to disconnect instead of adapt. Now, your friends and family, they don't want to adapt right now. Maybe in the future, and hopefully they will grow spiritually themselves. Okay? Spiritual growth often makes you set healthier boundaries. If loved ones were used to you being available for toxic cycles, manipulation, or self sacrifice, they may resent or push back when you no longer accept those dynamics. So if your family and friends is used to using you or manipulating you or getting you to do things to please them, because before you were a yes person, a giver, but now you're different. You're more in charge of yourself. You're more confident. You know how to say no. Well, your family and friends, they feel it and they don't know how to handle you now. Why do these relationships really break up during your spiritual growth? Sometimes your friends and family fear change. Even if your growth is positive, it may feel like you've become a stranger. And it's funny because you're thinking differently and you're feeling differently and your life is blossoming. You don't feel like you're treating them differently, but You're probably speaking up when you used to just be quiet, be more meek and humble. But now, with your new grown confidence, you speak up. You have an opinion. And sometimes your friends and family don't understand that. You never had one before. What's happening? And they resent it. It's not that they're going to try to understand you, they're going to get angry and not want to be around you anymore. You threaten their comfort zone. Your new perspective may unintentionally challenge the way they see you. Not everyone is ready for a reflection because the reflection is you challenge the way that they live their lives and they don't like it without saying a word, just being yourself. But see, on your spiritual path and your frequency is changing, you're different. You're like a totally different person from who you used to be. They see it, but maybe you don't see it. Maybe in appearance wise, you see it, but your inner being, that energy, you don't see it, but it is a powerful energy that they pick up. And it is intimidating. Now, the thing is, do these people ever come back to you? Time softens resistance. People who distance themselves may later reach out when they see that your change is stable and authentic. Consistency builds trust. All right, so stay on your path. Keep doing the good work, living positive, being positive, eating healthy, all of that. And when your friends and family see that you're serious, this is not a fleeting thing, then maybe it softens them up over time. Okay? Shared memories reunite connections. Bonds, especially sibling bonds, can lay dormant but not disappear. Sometimes as small as a family event, a crisis, or nostalgia can reopen the door. Well, you know what? I hope it doesn't have to come to a family crisis to open up the door because I would think that's flimsy. And the crisis, the only reason that, the family would come back to check on you is if you're on your deathbed. I can see that because people can be stubborn and people want to feel like they're right in their judgment. So some of this resentment can last a lifetime. But as soon as they hear that you dying, now here they come. Now, forget it then. That's what I say. Forget it then because that's flimsy. That's just like, to me, when people, for instance, let's say this, give you an example. When my father got ill, people didn't come around and just flood the house, making sure that he was good, okay, and just sitting and talking to him. Mm-mm. And he had a very, very large following. But when the hoopla died out, so did they. But I didn't have a funeral, but they were all waiting for a big funeral for them all to show up, cry, tell a bunch of lies, things like that. I decided, no, we're not going to do that. So I just laid him to rest. And that was something new for the family. So that probably alienated me even more by doing what I did. But I'm spiritual and I was guided to do it that way. And it worked for me. And I told them ahead of time what I planned to do. And if they wanted to do differently, they need to have the plan in place by the time he passed. Not after the time he passed, before the time he passed. So they didn't have anything in place. And when they heard, I had already laid him down. And he and they were so upset because now they wanted to scramble around and make arrangements. Too late. Too late. And so I'm telling you this story because on your spiritual path, you will do things differently out of the norm. Okay? But it's for your better good. And it's to show people that you don't have to do things this way because you've always done it that way. That may not be the best way to do things. Okay? So, anywho, on your spiritual path, people will fall away because you'll find yourself, doing things that they don't understand. And so they just go away being angry about it. Okay? All right, the hard truth is sometimes these people never return. Some of them just can't make peace with your evolution. You just got to let it go. Keep going on your path. Here are some things that you can do. Keep the door open. Let them know gently without pressure that you love them and are open whenever they're ready. Well, you know what? Just be open. I wouldn't address them at all. I think that's unnecessary. You know, if they're ready to come back, they know how to come back. Okay, that's my opinion. But lead with love. Healing family rifts is rarely quick. It's going to take time. So, uh, my advice to you is to stay on your spiritual path and be an example. Hopefully that they will be inspired by you to do things a little differently. And see, that's all good for everyone. I hope that you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. I want to thank you so much for your comments and your letters, and a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best, and I really hope to see you next time.